In America, people are most accommodated to dramas, horror films, action epics, comedies, and at times, science fiction films. Each of these categories has enjoyed introducing at least one landmark creation into cinema. The Exorcist, The Matrix, National Lampoon's Animal House, Star Wars. Despite the fact that some genres are not generally well regarded as boasting high quality, such as comedy. Because of this, the milestones of some genres go relatively undetected for decades on end. One of these genres is the giant monster, or kaiju genre, a subsidiary of science fiction that in its inchoate years produced its own silent milestone, Gojira. This film, generally misconstrued as mindless monster mayhem, is in actuality a well-executed project by director Ishiro Honda that spawned over 2 dozen sequels, launching many of its key players to success, particularly the now near globally recognized monster, who has recently received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Gojira demonstrates an exceptional character-driven plot, relatively advanced special effects, a thought-provoking allegorical subtext, and innovative original scores. As a brief plot summary, following a mysterious attack on a local fishing boat, a group of researchers are sent to an island where one of the survivors was discovered. The researchers themselves are headed by Professor Yamane, a respected zoologist. At the island, Yamane is informed of a traditional legend among of the natives, of a creature named Godzilla that emerges from the sea and preys on the villagers. That night, a hurricane hits the island and supposedly destroys a coast residing village, but the aftermath implies something else. Soon Yamane learns the truths of the legend, seeing the monster with his own eyes. Back in Japan, tensions build and armaments are assembled, as the ominous creature gradually advances towards the country. Gojira strikes a decent balance between monster and human, despite popular misconception, meaning all of the main characters, from the research-valuing Dr. Yamane to the brilliant yet desolate Dr. Serizawa, perform actions that are affected and affect the monster side of the story. In fact, one of the key aspects of each character that determines their decisions is their own view on how the monster should be dealt with. Yamane believes that the monster should be studied due to the fact that it is able to endure radiation, while his daughter Emiko and Lieutenant Hideto Ogata believe that it should be killed due to its incredible capacity for destruction. This is an effective layout for the characters for two main reasons. First, it presents both sides of the problem. Second, it doesn't make either party appear to be clearly wrong, as both demonstrate valid reasoning. In addition, the manner in which many of the film's characters react to the impending crisis of an attack adds realism to the overall plot. Politicians debate whether the existence of the monster should be made public knowledge. Scientific studies are performed to determine the creature's past, and unlike many other science fiction films, the after effects of the attack are shown, including a rush of hospital patients. The resulting damage does not disappear in an unreasonable amount of time, and the manner in which the public reacts during the attack also adds realism to the plot. Again, in most other science fiction films, the public acts as if the attacks are everyday things, either merely running away or not noticing certain happenings inexplicably, i.e. Transformers. In Gojira, the public is convincingly taken by surprise during typical activities, such as dancing, acting confused and subsequently outraged by the legislature that supposedly conceals relevant information to the monster attacks. Now, I'm not saying that the performances of this film are anything Oscar worthy or of the sort, but it's perfectly fine for this kind of genre. And besides, even amongst the best, these films are not exactly known for their great performances. You must remember, even King Kong is not remembered for great performances. Almost as misunderstood as the characters and plot in this film are the now obsolete special effects. The special effects of a science fiction film are meant to introduce the audience to an imaginary world, and Gojira implements this rule quite well for its time period. First, the most obvious effect evaluated is the utilization of an actor in a suit to create the illusion of a giant monster. This effect was actually more a matter of necessity than choice, as Honda originally intended to use the stop-motion technique from the film King Kong, but realized that time constraints prevented this. Thus, Honda turned to the technically less advanced suitmation technique, as they call it. Although this special effect is admittedly performed poorly in most films, including the later entries of the franchise, it is executed to such a degree here that it is only surpassed by two films made at the beginning of the 21st century, Giant Monsters All Out Attack and Gamera 3. The ash-like pattern on the skin of the suit effectively gives the impression of the mutations that Godzilla underwent as a result of the radiation he absorbed. The eyes, logically, are shown pointing downward in many shots, adding to the impression of Godzilla's size, and are also slightly more expressive than those of King Kong in his respective film. The best strengths of this effect, however, paradoxically stem from its flaws. The suit was remarkably stiff and heavy, which forced the actors to walk in a slow, lumbering motion, beneficial as it is actually an appropriate motion for a huge creature. Second, there is the heat ray that emerges from Godzilla's mouth. In this film, the ray has the appearance of a steady mist that causes objects to combust violently, an appearance that is much more haunting than the sometimes cartoonish rays of other sci-fi films, and strengthens the post-war theme. Godzilla's roar, one of the most widely parodied and referenced, is highly praised as a powerful sound effect due to its convincingly organic flow. Although most of these effects are considered primitive today, they nonetheless made the monster of this film believable, an aim that was lost to the decades. A vital element to Gojira that is often overlooked by the public and that is not seen within virtually all modern monster films is its allegorical structure. The aggregate review website RottenTomatoes.com describes the film as more than straight monster movie fare. Gojira offers a potent, sobering post-war commentary. This is due to the fact that Honda originally intended the monster to be a representation of the devastating effects that the atomic age had on Japan. And it is notable that Godzilla attacks Tokyo twice in the film, the same way that two bombs were dropped during World War II. Basically, producer Tomoyuki Tanaka stated it most plainly. The theme of the film from the beginning was the terror of the bomb. Mankind had created the bomb, and now nature was going to take revenge on mankind. This is the main reason that the film places such great emphasis upon the desolate landscape that is left behind following Godzilla's attacks. The reference is all the more effective because it is just a fleeting moment with a bomb, but the film presents a living, breathing catastrophe that will not merely end in 2 minutes. It is also the reason that Gojira stands higher than most science fiction movies of the modern day, because it grants the film social relevance, an illusion technique that is now generally reserved for satires.